getting back into the groove of things, spring ball underway. Uh, where do you feel? How do you feel about your offensive line unit?
Yeah, right now we certainly, with the experience we have coming back, that's a luxury. We were fortunate enough to hang on to our guys and nobody hit the portal, and hopefully that stays the case here when it opens back up in April. But right now the focus is trying to get that depth solidified to the point to where they're pushing those guys that maybe have more experience, and the closer we can get guys 6 through 10 to those guys that are 1 through 5, I think will benefit us in the long run, especially when you consider injuries and things like that.
Spencer Fano made a huge leap from year one to year two. Caleb Lomu seems to be on a similar trajectory. What's going to be the key for him to kind of match that same step that Spencer took?
Yeah, you asked that question, and that's been the focus that we've talked to Caleb about since coming back in January. If he makes that same jump that Spencer did from year one to year two, I think he has an opportunity to, you know, decide where he wants to go with his career, whether coming back or entering early. And so I don't think that's something to shy away from, but what he needs to do is, I think where Spencer really made a lot of improvement in year two was how physical he was, and it wasn't just about doing your job, but rather how can I look dominant doing that job. And so that's my challenge to Caleb, and that starts this spring.
With Jason Beck coming in and Devin Demp here as quarterback, there's been a lot of talk about how the offense will better fit, better suit this offensive line unit. How do you feel about that marriage between your guys and this offense?
Yeah, I think it's allowed our guys probably a little bit more flexibility in the run game in terms of getting them out in space, polling, things like that, maybe to where they can highlight their athleticism. But Coach Beck's done, I'm learning it just with the players, so it's been kind of unique and fun that way, that even though we have a lot of guys coming back, we're both, the players and myself, are learning something new and kind of finding our way through the offense. And so it's kind of not refreshing, but it's interesting that even though we have a lot of experience coming back, there's a lot of new things we're still working on and getting to know. So it's been awesome. I think we'll see what we look like when pads, just with one day in helmets. It's hard to really see where we're at, but I thought we had a good day yesterday.
Isaac Asiata back with the program. Just what does having him around do for the group, do for the team in general?
Yeah, so certainly selfishly for my guys, even though they may not like it, the individual drills now get cut in half, where I have Isaac who knows football really well, whether he learned it here or in the NFL. And so every drill they're getting twice as much work, because an individual, I'll send half the group with Isaac, and then after a couple minutes we'll rotate. So from that standpoint, it's been good. I think he has a lot of credibility with the kids in the room in terms of his playing career here and then in the NFL. And so I know a lot of those guys reach out to him, especially the interior guys that have played guard like he did. It's been a huge asset, and I think anyone that was here or knows kind of his path and knows him knows how magnetic he can be, how enjoyable he can be around. So it's nice for me. I'm glad he's back, and I think it's a huge bonus for the entire offense.
And last one for me, just what's going to be the biggest competition within your unit?
Yeah, so what I've told the guys, we do have those guys coming back that have some experience, but my challenge to them is I want them to get in a position where they are just as likely to start as the next guy. And so Mike Mokofisi will be a little bit limited this spring, and so that position is going to be open every single practice. The competition to try to get to be the third tackle, assuming Spencer and Caleb are still 1 and 2, that'll be a big competition as well. And that's probably my biggest concern, if you were to ask me after day one, is who is that third tackle without having to juggle a bunch of stuff. And hopefully, and I think we have candidates to do it, but we have some work to do.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.